This sound is pink noise. If you measure it, you can make it look like a straight line. In this graph, the lowest sounds we can hear are on the left and the highest on the right. Here are some tones matching the numbers on the graph. This little speaker is playing the pink noise in various locations. Each time it sounds different, and the line is far from straight. But even without the room, this speaker cannot make a straight line. And of course you have these problems with any speakers. Just like the graph tells us, different notes have different volumes. And that's not what should happen. Even with professional monitors in a studio, the line will not be straight. But we can try to equalize that line again using an equalizer. The most simplified equalizer could be considered one button to make the bass louder. For example, Kenwood's NB button. Let's connect a recorder to the speaker outputs and see exactly what happens. It increases only a part of the lower frequencies. When I decrease the volume, all low frequencies relatively increase. Also without the bass button. This subwoofer plays a sub-low frequency. If a speaker cannot do that, it should not move. That's why this JVC system cuts that sound. And like that Kenwood, the bass button is likely tuned to the included speakers. And with a rough measurement we can see that without the button the bass is too soft and with too loud. But for a real measurement I would need an anechoic chamber. Maybe in the future. In '96, when I got this fancy Sony system, I of course enabled all the buttons. Later I discovered that the smaller mini set of my parents could play lower sounds than mine. And when I disabled the bass button on my system, the lower sounds appeared. So Sony's bass button did more harm than good. They named it DBFB. This aggressive filter increases the bass in a very limited range. Technics also had a very cryptic name for their bass button. BLFS. Aiwa went for T-bass, without explaining in any manual what the T stands for. There are also buttons that increase the bass and treble. Most famously, the loudness button. This pioneer system may be one of the last having it. Really, it increases the entire volume with a dip in the mids. This 80s Sony system even comes with 3 buttons. Bass boost seems broken. Subsonic cuts the sub-lows. And loudness increases even the mids. And then we get to actual adjustments of bass and treble. On this system, all bass is altered. and the same for the treble. But not all systems do that. Often only a part of the bass is altered, even when decreasing it. How about this R-Cam receiver from the mid-2000s that still powers my surrounds? It has a nice curve with more focus on the deep and sub-lows. This is the device I used to send that 1 Hz signal to a speaker. And then we get to actual equalizers, beginning with the 3-band equalizer of my childhood Cosmel system. I actually use a tone sweep to do these measurements, and I have to use the cassette deck for this one.
Oh, nice.
I'm happy to see that the numbers on the equalizer are quite accurate. This 80s Akai system has a 9-band graphical equalizer. I still use it to correct the sound of my homemade Piggy speakers. Let's measure if I actually improved it. Yes, that is indeed an improvement. Into the 90s, programmable equalizers became the norm, often with included presets by the names of venues or genres. With that, coloring the sound rather than equalizing it. It was fun to play with, but if you like music, you should always try to actually equalize it. Then there are systems that lie they have an equalizer, like this Iowa that only has 3 fixed presets. They make it really complicated, combining it with T-bass and BBE. It does something with the high frequencies, probably tuned to the speakers, I don't know. Speaking of complicated, this is a 3-band parametric equalizer. Where did I hear that before? But anyway, instead of 1 slider, it has 3 knobs per band. And like I demonstrated, you can change the frequency of each band. And the width, named Q. Here's a programmable version of that. And then we get into the professional realm with this unit, which to my surprise is from the mid-80s. This Nico EQ30M is a 32-band mono-graphical equalizer. So you will need 2 of these for stereo. Today, professional equalizers are digital. Argument of discussion, but digital equalizers usually sound better than analog. And of course, allow way more flexibility. For example, automatic equalization, like I did with this software that comes with a measurement microphone. But later I did it in my own quirky way and got even better results. I play pink noise while moving this tiny microphone around at the listening spot. Then I use the match function of this equalizer and match the measurement with direct pink noise. And this tiny computer is the equalizer, with the corrections for all speakers. I also use it to extend the bass with the subwoofer and correct the headphones. But an equalizer cannot do everything, and the correction that I apply is already quite extreme. With this sound, an impulse response, you can see the difference between the pure and equalized signal. And the room. You can see the left speaker, the right speaker, so it wasn't exactly in the middle, a window reflection and all the other reflections. All the hi-fi systems also had analog distortion. These are spectral displays of the tone sweep. There should be only one line. The professional Nico equalizer had a pure signal, but with a slight transformer buzz. The best hi-fi is actually professional products. That is, after all, how music is mixed, including my music, of course. Extreme equalization can become audible, and that's one of the reasons room treatment is so important. The better the room, the less you have to equalize the sound. I hope you liked this video. If you didn't, be sure to check out my channel about anything. Thank you, patient patrons, for making these videos possible, and thank you for watching.